have been.
Where did you dig up that old fossil?
Going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
That's no move.
We're all fine here now, thank you. How are you?
Welcome to the Star Wars Nerds Podcast. I'm Dan Vademacher.
And I'm Kenton Larson.
And Kenton, today I'm going to be using this podcast episode, I'm going to be using this podcast episode as a teaching tool for our students. All of our students are off recording their podcasts this week. They're all doing a podcast for me as an assignment. So they have class time this week to go off and record an episode. The next week, we're all going to get together in class. They're also recording on Zoom, by the way we're doing this episode right now. So they have a video file to edit. So next week, we're all going to come back together in class so they can edit it. So I want to have a file too, a current up-to-date file of a new podcast that has not been released yet. So this is what that is. Do you have anything to say to our students?
Do you drink Sprite? I recommend Sprite. There we go.
Good one. Is that Sprite Zero?
Sprite Zero sugar, but I don't think it's called Sprite Zero.
Oh, okay.
Lemon lime. Oh, I guess it's all lemon lime, all Sprite. It's not a special flavor. It's normal.
No, that's okay. All right, let's get into some Star Wars news. Now, this is interesting because we haven't been able to record for a few weeks just because our schedules have been very busy. We haven't had a chance to be in person. But I think it's interesting that the story that we wanted to talk about a couple of weeks ago is still around and is still like happening. People are still talking about this. I sent you an Empire article yesterday talking about the hunt for Ben Solo, the quashed film at Disney that did not get past the green light or get the green light, so to speak. But everyone seems to want it, Kenton.
Yeah, and I do too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think movie. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, this is what I think. This is why I think they want it. First of all, we all thought, I thought, I don't know, you tell me, but I sort of got the feeling like Adam Driver regretted signing up for 3 Star Wars movies. And then he was kind of like the guy who plays Finn. What's his name again? Oh, John Boyega.
Or somebody, thank you. I'm Attack the Block. Thank you.
That took forever. For both of them, it took mental block. But I thought that he was not happy. I like the last movie was so bad, and everybody thinks it's bad. I don't know anybody, like the staunchest Star Wars defender didn't like Rise of Skywalker. And I thought, man, I'll bet you that Adam Driver is so happy to be done with this shit that he's done. He's never going to talk about it again. He will never there will not be an interview where he talks about this character ever again. That's what I thought. So this news comes along that he loves the character so much. That alone was news. Then he worked on a script and a story for years, for a period of years. He so believed in it. He got a good scriptwriter. I can't remember who it is. And he got Steven Soderbergh to agree to direct it. You're like, this is insane. This is like, I guess Adam Driver does like the role. I guess he loves Star Wars. I guess he wants to play this character some more. Like, who even for a second thought that was the case? So I think, but you also look at the fact that not only does he still care about it, he's passionate about it. And he's got an A-list director kicking around. Oh, and he says he thinks the script is super cool.
He said it was like one of the coolest effing scripts he's ever seen.
Yeah.
Now, so this was all driven by Adam Driver. He was the impetus behind all of this, and so he recruited Soderbergh to come in and do it.
Yeah, like it started with Adam Driver, I think, and then I guess he must have got, he wanted to get all the ducks in a row so that he could then go to Disney or Lucasfilm first, and apparently then he goes, Lucasfilm loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're like, oh my God, everybody loves this thing except Bob Iger. So years later, Bob Iger takes a look at it and he goes, I just don't see how Ben Solo could still be alive. No, thank you.
I read that it was Bob Iger and some other guy, the two guys at the top. I don't remember who the other guy's name is, but I think that because it was two of them, that was a stronger, they were united in their no, he can't be alive. And so that's why it was a no. I think if it was just him by himself, they would have pushed back maybe. But I don't think that anybody at that level should be making these decisions. This should be a Kathy Kennedy decision, and that's it. It should not go higher than that. Like, she's in charge of the studio. She greenlights things. Why all of a sudden do they do this for everything? Is this how we got the accolades? Right? I think I'm thinking, oh yeah, that would be cool. Like,
This raised
older man know nothing about Star Wars.
this raises the whole specter of maybe everybody who's been blaming Kathy Kennedy has been blaming the wrong person. Let's start there.
Sure.
And as much as I liked, if they just would have said we're making a movie called The Hunt for Ben Solo, then I think I'd go, what are you guys talking about? Like, come on, what do you like? So I do think I agree with Bob Iger as much as that, where I think if they just announced we're making this and it was out of the blue, I think people would go, what do you mean The Hunt for Ben Solo? Like, how could he not be dead? Like, so I think what he said, yeah, I think audiences would say that. But now that we know everybody on planet Earth loves it, Soderbergh wants to direct it. It's a passion project of Adam Driver's. Like, okay, I want to, and even the title, The Hunt for Ben Solo, that's like Search for Spock. It's like Spock when Spock vanished on the Genesis or whatever they called it planet. Was it Genesis? I can't remember.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, and then they go search for him, and you're like, oh, maybe he's alive. And we already had the Rise of Skywalker, where it's like, oh, he's still dead.
Yeah, but that's a perfect example, Kenton, because Spock was supposed to die at the end of Wrath of Khan, and there were no plans to bring him back. Leonard Nimoy wanted the character to die. He did not want to do Star Trek anymore. And they're like, okay, we're going to give him a good death. It's going to be a heroic death. He's going to save the ship, and that's going to be it. And then because that was the successful Star Trek movie, by the way, that was the one everyone loved.
Yeah.
It reinvigorated the franchise. And so then once that was so successful, they're like, let's do a sequel. And that's when they came together. And to get Leonard Nimoy back, they said, well, you can direct it, I guess. Or he said he wanted to direct it. So he did. He directed that third movie, The Search for Spock. But that's a perfect example of, like, he was dead. He was like radiation, whatever. We see him physically die in that movie. They figured out a way to bring him back. They could figure out a way to bring Kylo Ren back. There's no one's ever really dead in film, right? You can always find a way. So I don't like that whole thing. I think it's interesting that they seem to have moved on from the sequel trilogy. And I think that might have been part of it, in that they were really pushing it for a while. Like, everything Star Wars was all about the sequel trilogy. That theme park, that hotel they made, that's now been shut down. The failed hotel was themed after the sequel trilogy. And I think at some point they were talking about another Daisy movie. They're talking about the Broom Boy movies, right? There's a lot of other stuff coming out of the sequel trilogy that never ended up happening. And I think and now, of course, we've got the success of The Mandalorian and Grogu, and then they're focusing on that. I think that's what maybe Bob Iger and crew were thinking, and that we're done with this now. We're not doing any more of this Ben Solo stuff because people didn't like it, and they're just kind of grouping it all in, saying people didn't like that. But I don't think that's true. I think there are people out there who do like the sequel trilogy aspects of it, maybe not the third film, but I think there is a fan base out there for this, and clearly there is, because the reaction to this news is people saying, we want this movie.
I also think that if there is something interesting in Rise of Skywalker, it's when he does return to being Ben Solo. And he looks different. He looks like a different guy. I don't think he has a single line of dialogue, but I'm pretty sure Ben Solo doesn't say anything.
Really?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think he just fights. He has a terrible fight with the Knights of Ren, but he kisses Rey, but I don't think he says anything.
Wow. Because I remember that being a very good performance, that he could definitely difference. Like, Kylo Ren and Solo are two different people, and he did a really good job of that. I didn't realize the lines.
Yeah. And he looked like a different guy, and the expression on his face was different. The whole vibe was different. And if there's some, like, this also raises questions about how the Force works, and et cetera, et cetera. Like this could be, and if it is the most badass, coolest script that he's ever heard, then I'd like the answers to those questions. That sounds amazing. So I wish they would do it. I hope, and I do think that he I can't remember. Do you know what interview he said that in?
Oh, it'll be in hold on, let me look it up. It'll be in the Empire. Everyone quotes everyone else, but it was Empire that published this piece yesterday, talking about the reaction to it. Driver's own words to the Associated Press: "It is no more, so I can finally talk about it." It was an interview with the Associated Press. I don't know what it was for. Maybe he's promoting a different movie or something.
I think him dropping it in the discussion, I think that's like Hail Mary. Maybe this is the last chance.
Or do you think that he really thought like this is dead, so now I can talk about it? Like you don't think he's not? It's not like a Ryan Reynolds Deadpool situation where he's like leaking the trailer, and then that's like people were so love that so much we created the Deadpool franchise. Like that's, I don't know if that's the same thing, that he did it on purpose.
I think he probably did it with the blessing of Kathy Kennedy.
Oh, sure.
Probably like that. So I'm not burning any bridges.
Sure.
And maybe this is just the little push that Bob Iger needs to kind of see that there is a fan base for this character. You know, and the other part that doesn't make any sense is Bob Iger's like, I just don't see how Ben Solo's alive. And what, he doesn't read the script? Well, that's the point of the script.
What business are you in, buddy? Have you not watched a movie? Like so many people, I think it was like he didn't want to make any more sequel movies and he wanted to leave that all behind. I think they view that as a failure. I really do. Like, even though those movies made money, you know, whatever, they were successful on paper, but I think that the fan reaction, especially to that last one, is very strong, and they don't want to be associated with anything like that. They want to move on.
Yeah. I think that's true. I get it to some extent, but I don't understand. So Adam Driver recounts that Bob Iger said, I just don't get how he's still alive. But presumably the script answers that question.
Right.
And maybe he's not still alive.
Maybe he's a Force ghost, right? Maybe is like
what does the hunt for Ben Solo even mean? Like what are we looking for? What like the Emperor came back in Rise of Skywalker with the lamest backstory. There was no backstory really. Right. And it announced on Fortnite, and then in the crawl, it's like a mysterious broadcast, and we're like, oh god, that's supposed to be the thing on Fortnite? That was the Emperor coming back? Like, that is the lamest return of any character in Star Wars. Right there, the Emperor. If you're telling me that this script is cool and it makes it work, then, and we've already done the lamest one ever, why don't we do the best one ever?
Yeah.
I don't understand that. Like, why did he approve that then? I just don't understand.
Third movie schedule, Kenton. They had a third movie schedule that had to be out by a certain date. They had to make their deadline. They had to be the box office. They had their financial goals they had to get. Like, there was too much riding on that third movie to cancel or to negate any of it. I bet you at no point did anybody say, I don't know about this. Like, for that film to be made the way it is, everyone was like, okay, go ahead. Let's just get this done. I think that's the mode they were in for the Rise of Skywalker. I don't think they were thinking about the story implication.
I mean, okay, so when they showed him Rise of Skywalker, did he say, I just don't understand that the Emperor's still alive? Or did he understand that?
No, he did understand, because it translated to money. Like, they knew that people were going to show off this movie. I believe, and I also think it's spooked by Solo, because Solo came out and it was a standalone film and it didn't do well. That spooked them into doing these standalone movies. They wanted to be trilogies or series. I don't know. Let's see what happens with The Mandalorian. But I also think that this is like the way this came together with Adam Driver and Soderbergh and the screenwriters. It's much more old Hollywood. This is the way things used to happen, where somebody worked on a movie and really loved the character and really want to be a part of it. So they came up with a reason to keep playing that character again and brought in screeners and brought in people. Like, this kind of stuff used to happen all the time. And I don't think it really happens anymore, right? Because there's just nobody who's willing to kind of take on the responsibility of doing this the way I guess Adam Driver did.
Yeah, I like your interpretation of I just don't understand, as in how am I supposed to make money from this? That's funny.
Well, I think that was at the end of the day, he went and looked at that and said, this is going to be another Solo. It's not going to do well. And he just dismissed it. And the fan really what they need is like I guess a focus group or something. But they probably do have focus groups, but like to test these ideas out a little bit broader than just running it by the bosses, right? Let's see how people react to this. What if we did this? What if we did this? And see how people like it, and then they can go forward with the ones that people like. I don't know. It's a weird situation to be in.
From now on, I'm going to say to people, I just don't understand, blah, blah, blah. And I'll rub my fingers together.
For the money.
Hey, show me the money. Like, Dan, I just don't understand what this podcast is about. We're doing. Come on,
Hey, Billy,
yeah,
go ahead.
give me some money.
Um,
Or when you go, let's go for coffee, and I'll go, maybe I just don't understand where we're gonna get that coffee.
I also see how they could brew it. I just don't see it. One thing that did hurt me though, it did remind me of the Book of Boba Fett, which I think came out of. They were never going to make that series until that like scene at the end of of the season of Mandalorian where he came back. Like that was what made that, right? That single scene, and it was again, it's similar to the Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool thing. That single trailer for Deadpool, what sparked all of that. So it just proves that they can take these ideas and bring them back, and I do think that there's a good chance they will go forward with this. I think that someone's having a meeting at Disney right now saying, look at all these people who really want this. What do you think, Mr. Iger? Do you think you can see him being alive now? Are people willing to spend money on this?
Well, what if, I mean, they have a script that they love, and he can play him probably at any age at this point.
He looks pretty much the same. It's like,
yeah. He doesn't look that different. I mean, I'll bet you in 10 years he could still play the role, because I mean, if we're hunting for a guy who we think is dead, anything could have happened to him, where he could be anywhere, right? He could be in another dimension or something. So
yeah, that's the one the article I read said that the speculation is that they would employ the world between worlds, or whatever they call that kind of alternate dimension that they've gone into a few times now in different parts of Star Wars. And so maybe he's in there and then can regenerate his body or something. I don't know. Like how did Luke do what he did in Rise of Skywalker, or in The Last Jedi, where he showed up and with
I actually think that if you're like, once again, I've said a million times, you don't call a movie Rise of Skywalker if Luke doesn't come back to life. The world's most powerful Jedi the universe has ever seen. And nah, he's dead. Nah, forget it. Okay, well, look, maybe if Ben Solo can come back, so can Luke Skywalker. Because Mark Hamill is still alive. He's starring in movies being shot in Winnipeg. He can show up for the film. We could bring him. They should have brought him back in Rise of Skywalker. Yeah. Well, they should have brought him back, because come on, like there's a million explanations.
Yeah, instead of a Han Solo cameo, they could have done him showing up. Like it would have made more sense for it to be him.
Right, exactly. So I agree with you that I think they will. I think this increases the odds that they will do it. And every podcaster, every Star Wars fan, like everybody is talking about this.
Yeah.
So it just fans of film are talking about it. And also, who knew Adam Driver was, interested in scripts and like in terms of for his character and all of this stuff. It's interesting that he pushed all of this forward.
It's like a very old Hollywood, right? This didn't happen. And to have Steven Soderbergh, like he is very prolific. That company is making movies all the time. I watched one during my 31 Days of Horror, where it was basically just it was like a one take. Was it one take? I think it was. And it was like a haunted house movie. It was a haunted house movie from the point of view of the ghost. So the ghost is like moving around the house as people come in, and it was it was a little boring, but it was interesting. It was an interesting idea. I think that's what he's doing now. He's just trying to challenge himself with interesting ideas, and he's made like 3 movies in the last year. And I don't, if he wants to make it, let him make it. Like you said, he's an A-list Hollywood director, Academy Award nominated, or win the Academy Awards. I'm sure, maybe, I don't know, but he's very, very good. Like Steven Soderbergh's a great director.
Well, he's been around for a while now, but I remember he was going to retire because he said that story where he watched a guy watching the Avengers on an iPad. Do you know that story? Oh. He was on a plane, and there was a guy in front of him watching the Avengers, the first Avengers movie on an iPad, and the guy was just dragging his finger to the action scenes, just watching the action. He was like, "That's it, I'm retiring. Forget this. This is garbage." He's like, nobody. If that's how people are watching films, I'm out. And so and I think he even said, "I'm going to retire." And it's funny because you're right. Since I think I'm going to retire, he's shot like 20 movies. The page isn't a paycheck, Dan.
Well,
I just don't understand how I'm supposed to retire with all this money pouring in.
But I would say like maybe that's not the guy's first time watching the Avengers, and maybe he just likes the action scenes. Like there's some good action scenes in that movie. That's something I might do one day when I just wanted to see some action, right?
Yeah, nice.
it's not like people are just watching movies that way. Like they're gonna actually watch the whole movie.
Yeah, but I get it. I understand that you put your life's work, you put your heart and soul, you put your blood into this film, and there's some twerp sitting on a plane, fast forwarding through your magnum opus.
Another article I saw had to do with Ryan Johnson and J.J. Abrams. Apparently JJ moderated a panel for Ryan. I don't know where it was, but it was for his Knives Out movie that he's promoting, the new one. And so apparently, so these two guys there, and they go out there. Ryan Johnson says, "Okay, we're here to talk about the trilogy movies everyone wants to ask us about. Knives Out." No, I don't know that they ask any Star Wars related questions, but I guess it came up it's come up in other interviews with those guys as far as like the whole plan behind that trilogy. And they both have said there was no plan. They were both given like basic carte blanche to do what they wanted with the story, and they did. And Ryan said that JJ basically did what same thing he did with The Rise of Skywalker or with The Last Jedi, was kind of yes and like kept the stuff he liked and got rid of the stuff he didn't like. And then JJ did the exact same thing for the last one. Kept the stuff he didn't like, got rid of the stuff, and then brought in more stuff like the Emperor, because he killed off Snoke. Again, I think if he hadn't killed off Snoke in the second movie, the Emperor would never come back in the third movie, right? Would Snoke the whole time, because that makes more sense.
It makes more sense. But I remember after we watched those movies and we said, boy, they really edited each other's movies, is what they did by just like, I'll just continue with the parts that I like. That's exactly what they did. And Broom Boy, never to be seen again, is a weird way to end that movie. Like there's stuff just hanging around out there,
like
loose threads everywhere.
A little shade. Like JJ was like, I think one of the things he said about The Last Jedi was, and specifically about the whole moment where Kylo Ren tells Rey that her family isn't anything or whatever, that her parents aren't anything. And JJ's response was, I don't know that people really want to come see Star Wars and be told that none of it matters. Like, well, that's not really what that is. It just means that what you said mattered doesn't matter. Maybe something else does. But like, I got the feeling I'm too happy about it.
It means anybody can use the Force. It can happen to anybody.
Yes.
And then the other one, and then the next movie was like, no, you have to be Palpatine's daughter.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Or granddaughter.
Yeah.
No, what is it? Is it daughter?
Yeah, it's his granddaughter. Yes. It was like her parents were like one of her, I don't even know if it was her dad or her mom, was a secret love child of the Emperor. And that's even more ridiculous. Like the whole idea of the Emperor having kids is stupid.
Well, I mean, the Emperor impregnated Shmi Skywalker, right? I mean, by manipulating. Well, he manipulated the midi-chlorians, I think, didn't he?
I don't know. That's a little.
I thought that was the explanation when they go, he has no father, and I was like, well, it's the Emperor messing with the midi-chlorians is what was going on there.
I thought it was more like the Immaculate Conception. It was like the Force.
Well, okay, maybe. Oh my God, there's so many potential different fathers for this stuff, but you're right. I'd rather have it be the Force than the Emperor. The Emperor fell in love.
Anyway, I hope they do. I hope they go forward with this. I think it's a good idea. I think that they should take more initiative with this kind of stuff. Like, I think the Book of Boba Fett was good. I like that they did that, and that they should do more stuff like that where they're reacting to what the fans want. They should listen to their fans. I know it's very divisive, and there are a lot of really like toxic, negative Star Wars fans out there, but there's also a lot of great fans who love the franchise, who love to see this kind of stuff, who just want good stories, and that's what this seems to be. So I hope they go forward with it.
Well, I always think about, I remember there was a real negative streak about The Mandalorian and Grogu in season 3. People online, I liked it, but everybody online's complaining, this is the worst season, blah, blah, blah. Then at Winnipeg Comic Con, I go to the panel and the place is packed and everybody is like pumped. They love The Mandalorian and Grogu. It's just like a whole different, the thing you see in the hall there is not just a bunch of people with gripes online. It's people who actually love the story. And so that they exist. It's not just people griping online.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that I think one way or another we'll hear soon if this continues, if it sticks around for another couple weeks, they might announce something. But we'll see.
Oh, you think? Oh, that soon? I hope so.
I don't know. I mean, they don't really have much else on the table for, like we've talked about in the past. There's all this stuff that's like in the works, but none of it's coming out. No release dates for anything. So, I mean, this would be something they could get in the works pretty easily, I would imagine, if not, as long as they get the schedules lined up and the actor and what's his name and the director are free to shoot it. They could shoot this next year and then get it years by 2027.
Well, Dan, I have paused my Amazon Prime. I have paused my Netflix. I have not paused Disney Plus because there's a Beatles documentary coming out at the end of November. But I remember my prediction that Ahsoka season 2 would come out in December. That is looking like I am never been more wrong about something in my life than not happening. So that's probably not till next year.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. But until then, we will continue talking about it on this podcast. That's going to do it for this episode of the Star Wars Nerds. I'm Dan Badabonker.
I'm Kenton Larson. Don't let the Force hit you on the ass. See you later, kids.
Going to Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
Now I am the master.
I'm taking an awful risk, Vader. This had better work.